Absolutely. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to, the full length version of Renegade Radio, Season 3, Episode 9. We are on we're at the end of phase 1 of Season 3. Hold on a second. Turn it down a little bit. We're on low. I don't know if I pick all that up. But we are at the end of phase 1 of season 3, meaning that we're going to be coming back here in a couple weeks here, 3 weeks from now, and we'll be back for season 3, episode 10. We'll start phase 2 of season 3. Let me get Mama T in here. And what's up, everybody watching our Bradford's Best Source there? Well, speaking of best source, we got the best source right here. We got Mama T here.
Oh, stop. I don't, can you hear me very good? Because I'm using my phone and I've got it like set so it doesn't slide off my computer because my computer doesn't get over.
Sure.
Is sound okay?
Everything's fine. I mean, you look fine, no lag or anything. You were having some issues last night in the episode I saw.
The microphone is like underneath a pen right now, so I just wanted to make sure.
Well, I'd probably take the microphone or the pen out of there so we can, because when you speak, sometimes it's like.
I take the pen out and the phone slides around.
You don't have any other holder at all?
No. If I had another holder, I wouldn't be taping a pen to my freaking laptop.
Wow. Well, you were having some issues yesterday. I seen when watching a little live show.
Well, that was for some reason my computer wouldn't get the right signal, and her phone wouldn't get the right signal.
Oh.
So once we both swapped out, we were fine.
Okay.
Like I went on my phone and I was fine. Then she like got off her computer or got off her phone and went on her computer and she was fine. So I don't know. It was weird.
What's up?
Oh, I forgot to mute my phone.
Hello, everybody.
So that's what happens. It just slides down.
You don't have like well, I know you don't have a holder, so I'm trying to think of an alternate thing that would work. You don't have anything you can just have like a little box or something you could lean it against or anything?
Well, that's why I got the laptop. Oh. I'm setting it on the laptop.
Oh, okay. Well then.
Hello, Mama T and Sean. How you doing tonight?
Oh, doing all right. How about yourself there?
Living the dream. I ate a hot pepper and I'm really. So if I go running, you know what's wrong.
You ate a hot pepper before the show.
I ate 2 really hot peppers. Like they were.
That's good to do.
And I knew they were hot when I was frying them, and my dog was coughing and rubbing his eyes on the carpet. I'm like, wow, it was like pepper spray.
Oh,
so I took one and I just took it out of the pan and I started eating it with a knife and a fork, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm in trouble. And now I can feel it slowly working its way down to the butthole.
Oh, well, if it does,
lovely.
If it does go,
that was just a great visual. Thanks, Sody. I needed that.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, if you see me making the 50-yard dash towards that door here, I'm not running out on the program. I'm just running out.
Well, you're not doing a magic act and disappearing. You're running.
We'll need an exclusive report.
So how's everybody doing this week? Good.
Well,
it's going all right, I guess. I mean, it just.
You can see that. That's what I did yesterday.
What'd you do?
Filled these little things.
Oh yeah, they got your man's ashes in them.
Yeah.
Cool. I wish I was still, if I was still working, Mama T, and my company, what I did, because I did cremation and everything, we had bracelets, real beautiful bracelets, and you put a little bit in each bracelet, but I don't.
And see, I've still got a lock of hair. Plus I've got, okay, he would love this, but I've got like this little baggie full of powder. Well, his ashes, of course.
Of course.
And it's all rolled up nice and neat in the cupboard waiting for an urn.
Oh, well, just don't smoke it.
Waiting for who?
Ashes. It's not anything else.
Urn.
Oh, waiting for an urn.
Urn. That's right.
I gotta see what I can do for you. Maybe I'll take a ride down if I can mail you one out or something. I don't know. It's hard now that I retired. No, I don't even know hardly anybody in the company anymore.
Surprised that they would
Well,
recognize.
see, I'm gonna be real picky about it too, because like once I find something, and that's what it's gonna be, and it's gotta be right, you know, it's gotta be just right.
If I was there, I could have put his picture on it. I could have laser printed anything you wanted.
Oh, it actually does. I got one of the ones that are printed on. So there was a lot of them that just had the guitar and just the silver piece, and this one actually says "Little Bobby." Okay, I'm gonna tell you what it says because I can't read it. 11/28, 75, 7/29, 24. Okay, that's
yeah.
It is laser printed on there, but
okay. Wow.
But there was only so many of those printed, and the rest of them didn't have laser printing because it costs more.
We got the new ones out where they put the thing on it, and you scroll with your phone, and it show you show him playing the guitar and everything on your phone.
Oh, I got to show you something. So, like one of his best friends, his old lady does these stickers, and I haven't found a place to put this yet. Not amongst yourselves for a moment.
Oh, my stomach.
I like the wall of photos now. You updated that.
Oh.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's
pull back a little bit. There you go. Now we can see the whole thing.
Yeah,
that's cool.
The Blue Diamond.
Yeah,
she made real cool.
And she had to individually carve out each of the feathers and I mean
stick
and
it
like
in your
all
car
the numbers
window.
and everything. The Cole, she is. I'm gonna put her link. I'm gonna put her link in here somewhere. I'm gonna find her link and she does work like this, and the bar is currently taking orders for people who want these stickers. So and I got the only gold one because she asked me what color I wanted, and I said, well, Bobby's if you're putting a guitar on there, it needs to be the blonde because his favorite guitar was his Fender, and it was a blonde. One time when he was on the stage, there was a bunch of people in there, and he says, "Babe, can you run next door?" He says on the microphone, "Babe, can you run next door and grab the only blonde that you ever let me touch?" The entire crowd looks at me like,
wow. Like, well, they're
of course he was referring to his guitar, you know.
Was that a Stratocaster?
Wow. Oh, you know, Bob had a way. Bob had a way. That's for sure.
Where's my brother at?
Well, he's not here.
It's a Starcaster. It's if you look up the Kingstone Kingstone Ingram Kingfish. It's Kingfish.
Yeah.
Kingfish. It was his guitar.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
And Bobby somehow ended up with it. I've heard like 3 different stories on how Bobby ended up with Kingfish's guitar. But if you look up his albums, you'll see this guitar on one of his album covers, and it's been on like 2 or 3 of Bobby's now.
Cool.
And we saw him down when we were down in Clarksdale, and we saw him at one of the little joints down there, and Bobby's like, I'm like, babe, bring that over there, get him to sign it. So I've got pictures of him like off in the corner with Kingfish signing the guitar.
Lucky you didn't want it back.
What's up, John?
Right?
These dogs don't just.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, what's up, man?
Yeah. How's it going?
I thought you
think you left the show.
I thought you were giving me the finger in
show or
stereo.
something at our studio. What's that?
Oh,
I thought you were giving me the finger in stereo. I thought you were.
Yeah.
One of the things that somebody gave me was a package of like all these posters. So that's
cool.
Yeah, I know.
Buddy Guy, and then Bobby, BB King,
cool.
Jimi Hendrix, Mississippi Fred McDowell,
Cool.
There we go. Bonnie Raitt,
All right.
Muddy Waters, Eric Clapton, and guess who's got the top spot on this one?
Ah,
Of course.
I have to send you one of mine then.
Yes, you do. I'll find a place for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got my
I got a bunch of different
Right, I was just gonna put it in a
He's
frame.
trying to join and he missed that part.
Oh, he'll see it. He'll see it.
We'll see it. We'll wait and see if he notices it in the background.
I'm gonna put a frame up for his because his deserves a nice frame.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I haven't put it up yet.
I need a few.
I'll do that. So I have more photos too to put up. I just haven't put them up yet. I have a lot of autograph photos.
Move my head. Can you see what that is behind me?
Sure.
That's Untouchable Productions.
Yeah.
The sign that Bobby got made for the studio downstairs. Okay. Screaming Sam, do you see what is on the top? Like,
Gotta go up a little bit higher.
You see what that is?
Is that me?
That's you.
Thank you.
You're on the wall of famous people.
Wall of Fame. Thank you.
Yeah, you're on the top too. You're on the top too.
I don't see Sean's.
Well, with your photo that you gave me, I'm gonna get a frame for it. I haven't been able to afford to yet.
Turn it around. I'm gonna try to. Can I turn it around? I don't know if I can turn this around. Oh yeah, I can. All right.
By the time we come back, then I will have a frame for it.
Buddy Guy, Little Bobby, BB King, Jimi Hendrix, Mississippi Fred McDowell, Bonnie Raitt, Muddy Waters, Eric Clapton, and Screaming Sam.
And Meatloaf. That was Meatloaf. That wasn't Screaming Sam.
Oh no, that's what I need to get. No, I do actually know this one dude. He's gonna be on my show pretty soon. He actually does look just like Meatloaf. Wait, there we go. He does look just like Meatloaf, and he is a singer. His name is Mark Anthony, and he's with a band called the Shuffle Cats.
I don't know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he looks just like Meatloaf. And
I've
he's
seen the Shuffle Cats way back in the day. We saw him a few times.
Yeah, he's we saw him at Moondance. We got to go to Moondance. We got to go.
Are they kind of like the Stray Cats, kind of what they're shuffle? All right.
Oh, I should mute
that. I'm gonna let you guys know that when we come back from our break in 3 weeks here, we're gonna have a guest on, but we're gonna do something different. And normally I wouldn't care about stuff like this, but because she's a friend of mine, and because it's somebody that I've known for a long time, and she's trying to do something positive in the community for Thief River Falls. There's a friend of mine named Lindsay Gregory, who is running for school board.
Is she?
Do you know her?
Yes, I love her.
Okay. Well, that's cool then. She's going to be on September 16th when we come back. And she's a little nervous because she's never been interviewed before. She has no idea what a Q&A is and everything.
So you want us to keep it clean?
She'll be all right.
I need your help to make the interview good, so maybe people will see the good side of her and what she's trying to accomplish and everything. Because there's so many people that are
awesome human being.
She's a small little girl, but she has a good attitude, not big attitude. She has a good attitude. She's a strong person.
Is she related to Hans?
Hans Gregory?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Well, back in my day in Thief River, yeah, I had a friend there. His name was Hans Gregory. Yeah.
Well, I mean, her husband, I think, has a great.
Well, where do you live? I'm surprised his name ain't Hans.
I met her back when I used to work at Wally's in Roseau. Oh, I'm sorry.
You worked at Wally's in Roseau?
Oh yeah, that was the first job.
Shut up!
Not
Wally's.
Shut up! So did I.
2004.
Wally the Roseau! Holy shit!
Yeah, I know. It's nothing.
Back in
really...
93, I think. There, so yeah.
Okay.
You mean Roseau?
And then the owner's called.
Man, him knocked off Joey DeRusso last week. I know him well.
Jordan, you betcha. 10 miles from the border, eh?
The border, yeah. Let's go to the angle, eh? Northwest
No,
angle.
the old owners, the husband, he referred to me as the odd duck.
Well, he was right.
I don't know why. When Halloween we dressed up and I was wearing one of those t-shirts that is made to look like it's a two-piece bikini. And then like all the other tellers dressed up as bumblebees and they put it in the paper as the honey and her bees.
Oh, she's married to Dave Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's what I say. Because her last name
Maybe
was
it's
Craig.
Hans's kid. Maybe
Well,
Dave is Hans's boy. I don't know.
Who's
But Hans
Franz?
Gregory, yeah,
Yeah, I
Deep
see.
River guy forever.
Trying to pump you up.
Who the
got
heck are you talking about?
You got your your audio is working this time, Lance. That's good.
We will pump you up.
Yeah, Hans and Franz. His ass blown up, we will pump you up.
Anyway, so yeah, we worked together back in 2000, well, probably 2004 or 2005 in at Wally's, and boy, I tell you, that was probably the worst 3 years of my life, because I couldn't stand working at that fucking place. It was just horrible, horrible,
Oh.
horrible, horrible. I mean, it was
That
great
dog
to go to the
hurt.
grocery store, but it was upsetting because they treated everybody. I mean, the people in charge were like treated everybody like we were military. And I got in because of my disability. I had a help, a special needs program that I was a part of at that time. So they paid me real cheap and they treated me like I was the R word, most of my little career that I had over there. And all I was allowed to do was bag groceries and get carts when nobody else wanted to do it, no matter what the weather was like. And while it was a learning experience, but I know I want to do that shit again. Never, never,
Yeah,
never.
putting on that face, customer service face. I just
Well, I've had a
that's
lot of
How you
retail-
doing?
like that's one of the reasons I love this show so much because I don't have to pretend to have the face, the smiley face,
Well,
Oh.
nobody's asking you
Hey,
to pretend anything.
and putting
working
up with,
radio for 40 years. You always got to act like you're happy.
Sure,
well,
sure,
you
sure.
You got
voice
that
sound like
voice,
without
John.
making your face look like it though. When
Yeah,
you're in
well,
customer service, your face has to match your voice and your
Right.
words.
see, what
And
would get me is when we're on location, when we do these live remotes,
Oh yeah.
and because people could be, anyway.
Um,
But
People
yeah,
could-
it's hard to. They're usually pretty fun though.
I remember.
Yeah, you get to that live location, they tell you to be there at 9. The reason they tell you that, it really didn't start till 11, but they wanted to make sure you were there. So you had to
Yeah.
sit 4 hours and wait for you to go on, and you were supposed to be happy. And I
Yeah.
got there one day, and I'm like, what time does the show start? Oh, 9 o'clock. I'm like, why did you tell me to be here at 5? I'm sitting there waiting for my match like for 4 hours in the dressing room, and I'm getting totally just exhausted, like just worrying about what's going on. Who am I wrestling? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd rather walk in 5 minutes before the match, put my stuff on, kick the shit out of somebody, and go home.
Yeah.
All
You
want
don't think about it. You know what I mean?
Come in for the finish anyway. No, I remember when Terry Olson would come in the afternoons, like when they were having like a super sale, super sale at Wally's or the mega sales, and they had to do the remotes, and I was just, it'd be kind of fun watching him like get all excited about being hang out by the Melons or whatever, or we're in the pickle aisle. We got a big sale on pickles this week.
Of course, the Melons.
Yeah. Oh, we're here by the fruit.
That's where I always parked. You'll find Roberts. He's over in produce over there.
He's playing with the melon.
Yeah, that's right. Or
He's squeezing the melons, and I don't mean the water.
That is not what the melon baller is for.
He's squeezing that girl's melons over there in the corner.
Yeah, they're doing a melon test or whatever. See which melons are sellable or whatever.
Hey, man.
Let's get ready to rumble.
I bagged groceries. I know what it's like too, and I get you. That was a long time ago, but
yeah, but you probably did it at a time when you'd see people like be happy about buying groceries and stuff. I'm sure I don't know if you had to deal with any. I'm sure you had to deal with some bad customers too, but at that time, remember those books that they would come out with at school about the happy grocery worker and everything. Look at Steve; he's so happy. He's so
Emotion
sad,
books.
you know. Look
The
at Steve
emotion
handle
books.
his meat.
Is that what you're
No, I
talking about?
wasn't happy. No, man.
Plastic.
I'm making $3.35 an hour. I mean,
I bagged the grocery girl. I bagged the grocery girl one time.
You whipped out your cucumber, right?
yeah, she was in
So
a
I can
different
bag it up.
department.
Yeah, the only problem, she didn't know what he was doing because she wasn't all there.
Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo.
She thought that's what you did when you were a grocery bagger. He put the bag over her head and she thought that's what you're supposed to do.
Part of the training.
That's right. Yeah, part of the training. Yeah.
Well, we called that a two-bag day. You put one on her head and your head in case hers broke, you still were covered.
You know, it was funny. One of my favorite stories from working over there at Wally's, and I did this at other. I worked at a few other grocery stores too, but you know when the bags would stick, you know, and you have to try to open the plastic bags individually. I just grouped a bunch together and just
maddening.
I put a bunch of just stuff in the bag or whatever, but it was like more than one bag. And I had the manager one time who was running the place, Gary, Grundle, check, he was checking out, and I was bagging his groceries, and he was wondering, why are you giving me so many bags for? It's like, well, these bags suck. They don't want to open like they should. So I'm just gonna give you a whole bunch, okay?
I bagged pre-plastic.
Oh, okay. So you did the bag.
It's a little easier.
Paper or plastic.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
None of that.
I got fired.
Before there was an option.
Yeah.
I got fired one
And
time.
everybody had 100 of them folded up between the refrigerator and the cupboard.
And I thought Hans and Franz, we were aging ourselves.
I got fired one time at a job. I was they caught me sticking my penis in the meat grinder, and she got fired too.
There he goes with the
What?
penis.
Why would you do that?
So she got fired too.
Oh,
I tell you what. Well, anyway, yeah. I mean, that I don't know. I mean,
I got thrown out of the Boy Scouts. I got caught back eating a brownie.
Yeah, you said that joke before.
Okay. Hey, Dick Man, look at that shirt, man. Where'd you get that at?
hey, did you know that I got fired from the M&M factory? I was working. I kept throwing out all the W's.
No, I got this.
I got this from the Antique Man the other day.
Well,
There you go.
Look how awesome that is.
Oh,
I really appreciate that, brother.
No, you're welcome. Oh,
I'll
gotta
get
have
another
fun.
thing.
So where'd you get
Okay,
your-
real quickly, if I might, since you asked, I got this shirt like 15 plus years ago in Minneapolis. 4 years
That
ago.
looks like it came from there.
Yeah, and 4 years ago, we went to Hawaii and we're standing in a long line for the big show that night. And I told Denise, I said, there's not going to be anybody with a shirt like this. There were all kinds of Hawaiian shirts being worn, none like this. And the lady finally got to us and took us to our table, pulled up my chair, and I looked across from me, and there's some guy from Canada with the same shirt. I got a picture. I'll share it later.
That's funny.
So what were the odds?
That's funny.
Well, maybe he was your doppelganger. Did he look like you? Did he have the same hairdo and everything? Was his name Eric?
Not quite, but yeah. No, he was a different guy. Anyway,
I
should
got
have
some
bought a
nice
lottery
Hawaiian
ticket.
shirts.
Should have bought a lottery ticket.
Well, what were you doing in Hawaii then? What made you have your presence over there?
That's kind of a personal question, isn't it?
Well, I mean, were you on tour? Were you doing your music stuff?
No, I'd never been. So we just went, and the other big thing that happened, we were laying in bed at the hotel, and all of a sudden the bed moved. It rumbled, and we looked at each other, and I said, I know I'm good, but geez, but it turned out it was it was a tremor. That was my first earthquake experience.
Oh, I thought you thought the girl next to you had a seizure.
Yeah. No, not this time.
Uh,
No, we had a
All right,
lot of
guys,
fun.
I'll send you guys a link here, so I'm gonna go right ahead and share that with you.
Damn it! I thought I was gonna one up you on this one because I have one almost exactly like that, and I was gonna
put it on. Okay.
I'm gonna go get mine.
Go to you, but now I can't find it.
I'm gonna go get my Elvis shirt. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you. I am.
All right, so let's see.
Anything would look better than that pirate shirt.
Yeah, I should have worn an Elvis shirt. He's probably better. He's probably a better hitter than half the Pirates, and he's dead. The other night they had 1 hit and 12 strikeouts.
Elvis, we just had him over in the casinos on Saturday. VIP.
I think I am.
He was
Thank you very much.
All right, so I will send you guys a live link here because we are.
Yeah, I've been looking all over for it.
Oh, let me. See,
are you under Renegade Radio or Sean?
Hold on. Let me change the. See, I so used to not.
3 weeks from now, I'm getting operated on, so I hope it ain't the same day as on my surgery. But
well, it probably is. It's September 16th is when we're coming back.
Okay, no, my surgery's the 17th. So that's the day after.
Yeah, David. Okay.
I'm getting my second knee and the third knee a week later.
Okay.
Oh wow.
That was me.
I'm just gonna work on
my wing knee.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
Come on, I'm trying to work here, guys. Let's go. I got 5, 6 guys on the panel. No one's helping me.
So what you're saying is it'll be a minor surgery.
I was in bad shape.
A minor procedure.
Yeah, the little procedure. They're gonna make it big. They're gonna make a big thing over it, though.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Big thing.
That's not what she said. Well, she did. Not to you.
No, he goes to have surgery. He goes to have surgery to make it smaller. Is what he's trying to do. So it's like he just doesn't want one.
A reduction. A reduction.
He'll not let me.
He's not getting an addictomy.
That's the procedure the lesbians need.
I'm getting a hysterectomy.
Crabby women and
they can always take. They can take that new medication and want cocks again.
Yeah.
You and you guys jokes.
That's a lesbian medication. I want cocks again.
Yep.
Oh God.
I'm sure we covered that before. All right. Well, anyway,
shut up, Sean.
Whatever. Hey, you guys use your refresh.
No, that's try cocks again.
Try cocks again. Maybe you.
Oh, there you go. Try cocks again.
Anyway,
I'm having a bad time with my camera again.
Any hooter. Anyone will do it. They're all
we're
awesome.
gonna get the show started, I think, now since we're all live and everything ready to go. I know it's a little.
Well, yeah. But on the big screen, all I
this.
get is your old show, comedian Mayor Webb.
You might just have to do a refresh because I did send it to public, so everybody can see it. So
all right,
that worked because I don't know what else to tell you.
I look like I'm Jesus.
All right. Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another great edition of Renegade Radio, Season 3, Episode number 9, and the end of Phase 1, as I like to call it, of Season 3. It's not the end of Season 3, it's just the end of the first phase. We'll be back in about 3 weeks with Phase 2, Part 2 of Season 3. But tonight is going to be a fun night because, not only was it being our last show before we take a little break, but the last show of real summer. It's been a pretty good summer so far. Well, give or take, I guess. Maybe it's been kind of a shitty summer for some of us, but it's been up and down. It's like an elevator, been up and down. So,
roller coaster.
Roller coaster, Grandma always used to say.
You throw up from and then you ride again, you throw up again.
Yeah.
Anyway, so tonight it's going to be a fun episode because we'll be joined about 7 o'clock here with a very special guest, a Back to the Future historian, named Michael KLASTORIN. So for all of you guys out there and gals that are watching, I mean, even on the panel, now obviously you had to watch Back to the Future in your lifetime. I'm hoping. Everybody has watched it before many times.
Yeah, absolutely, man, a million times.
Okay.
I don't want gigawatts.
So you remember it's the lines or whatever, because it'd be kind of funny if we started doing the show and all of a sudden nobody knew about any pop culture or anything. It's like, because I'm not going to bring up a lot of weird stuff, but I will bring up a lot of random stuff, because when we come back from break, we are going to do and probably talk about the new Beetlejuice movie. So hopefully you guys go see that.
Beetlejuice.
The new one, Beetlejuice, that's right. Should be good. I mean, I'm excited about it.
Hey, how about a little head?
We'll have Michael KLASTORIN on tonight, and Back to the Future. And what we're going to talk about is he wrote a book here a couple years back about the new Broadway musical that is actually coming. It's on tour starting in September, and the first place that it's headed to will be Minneapolis. Now, I would
cool.
like to go to that. I wish I could go to that. I wish somebody, that could drive. I know I've already been offered, somebody to come with, but if I could find somebody to drive so I don't have to drive in the cities, then I.
Where's it going to be? The Orpheum Theater?
The cities, I can't get pulled over. I'm very good at driving in the cities.
I'm sure you can get pulled over in the cities just like you could anywhere else. Yeah, I'm sure that.
Well, no, I drive good though. I don't get pulled over.
I've never been pulled over in the cities. I used to live there.
Well, I mean, I'm just
navigate quite well.
The last time I went there with my family, they had so much goddamn construction, and it's just like, it just like seems like it was.
And they don't
get in, like
you must be a bunch of country bumpkins, man.
And they don't keep the maps updated. They don't keep the maps updated, so you don't know that Google Maps is sending you down this road that is completely closed.
You guys drive in the city. Oh my god.
Oh, it's
tigers and bears. Oh my.
Yeah, that's right. Big city guy.
I lived in California before Google Maps.
Oh,
yeah, John, if he sees a car go by his house, he's like, yeah.
Bobby,
the Thomas Brothers guide.
Well,
dude, I live in the city.
Anybody that ever rode with
I
him,
have to have a 45 to go get my mail. And I ain't shooting bears. I'm shooting queers and everything else.
Wow. Well, stop it.
Funny.
Well, anyway, so tonight we are joined by Mama T. We got
Yo, Mama.
We got
Mama.
John Roberts, Screaming Sam. We got Lance Warlock, and we got Antique Man.
Greetings.
What about me, bitch?
What about me?
Did I say Screaming Sam?
I heard it.
Well,
did you? Let me ask you something, Sean.
The living legend that is living, Screaming Sam.
Frankie, let me ask you something.
What?
You and Tanya got my DVDs. I want you to watch it, and then why don't you guys interview me on your shows? Mama T.
I was only able to make it through let's just say the fun dip part.
I don't know what to tell you.
You can only make it to the first the names on the beginning, huh?
I can't even make it through the. I can't even make it to the damn.
John didn't even put it in his DVD player. Don't let him lie to you. He didn't even put it.
Is it that bad, Sean?
No, I mean, I saw Jenna. I saw the full clip on Jenna. I was like, man.
You're stuttering a lot.
I did ask him, like, this isn't a family-friendly show, so I'm going to tell you what I asked him. How many times did you beat off to this girl? Freaking hurting all over your.
Boy.
I mean, hey, I tell you what, for productive value, as far as old schoolness, like an old school porno or whatever, you did a great job. Okay, as far as the cover of the case, it looks like an old school porno. Okay,
it does.
But let me ask you guys a question.
Did you watch
Did you watch the titty hunter scenes?
I haven't got that far yet.
Because it's like a special, it's an extra. But I was asked to do a movie on that. If these guys from New Jersey actually come to Florida and want to do a movie on the titty hunter, which is me, and my producer turned it down because he says we don't want to lose the content. And he goes, yeah, but after 2 years you can have it back, which we should have did because we never did that with it. And if you see it, it's pretty funny.
Okay.
It's like me trying to act like a crocodile hunter with boobies.
I want to see it just because, like, the only porno I ever remember renting was called Ass Hunter. Like
With
the
Ron
dude, like
Jeremy.
literally, he
Oh,
was
that's
a
the only one I
detective,
probably didn't
and he
see.
was looking for this certain girl that was supposed to be involved in a crime, and she had a tattoo on her butt. And he would like put mirrors on his shoes and like slide his shoes underneath the girl's skirts and shit.
Wow.
I
Well,
think
hey,
that's the only. Hey, I think that's the only one I didn't see. Where can I get that at?
as long as it has a good
No, I got
plot.
it at the old T59 in Thief River.
Hey, I
You
used to have
remember
a
that,
gallon
don't you,
of
John?
garbage lotion.
As long as it has a good plot, I guess a porno can be just wonderful.
It did actually have a plot for a porn. It had actually a halfway plot.
They always have
wow.
great music, so
Yeah,
There wasn't a plumber. There wasn't a pizza guy delivery. I mean,
Lance, you can be in charge of the porno music then. You can do the score. Because you will score after that, probably.
love it.
Actually, I could make you a copy of some other shows and send them to you too. You'll die.
Yeah, Johnny's in them.
No, I'm not in them.
He's right
so
next to what's his name.
okay.
Raise your button, John.
Let me ask you a question there, Sam. And maybe this is a stupid question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Because you're the host of your own show, how come you didn't actually get involved in actually any of the?
Because I respect my wife and I love my wife and I would never do that.
Oh, but I thought you liked porn.
I could see that.
Yes.
That jet, you wouldn't even you wouldn't do the fun dip. You wouldn't even like
No.
you didn't. It wasn't you that put the panties on your face. Even like you
Right.
didn't even want to smell that. Like
I wouldn't disrespect her like that. And
Yeah.
I never did do anything. If you've seen
Yeah,
some of the
you
other
ever seen
videos
his
where they
wife?
jump over the desk at me and they hurry up and clear that mess because I don't want that.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
you ever see his wife? His
So-
wife's like 30 years younger than him, very pretty.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, so she didn't give you permission at all. So she's just like, no, don't do
So
that.
she found out one time I was spanking her with my hand. She asked me not to do that, so I got a paddle.
Yeah, because Jenna did ask you. I
Oh,
remember.
sure, yeah,
I remember
the paddle,
her
yeah.
asking you to spank her, and I was
That's the
thinking,
paddle.
is straight laced as your wife came across, and
Quit
sexual
it.
as you were, I was surprised that you were actually placing your hand on her ass.
I'm professional. I'm professional. I really am.
Yeah.
When it comes to that stuff, I'm professional. That's
I-
why
I-
Sean picked me to be co-host.
That's right.
I'm
Yeah, you're a
professional.
professional.
Well, he is a professional.
Professional.
That is why I picked him. You know, I mean, because he had good vision, and I like.
Johnny
know,
is
like-
a professional. No, you are. You are a professional.
Like I'll tell you what, guys. I wish that we all did live together because it's true. I lived. All of us, my guys, got together in one room and did the shows. I guess you know what I mean. And it is so much better. I would have loved to do a show like that. That's Grand Forks or what is it? Grand Forks,
That's
right?
why we have so much fun at the studio.
Right,
because-
We're
I
gonna
know.
come down someday. Me and John's gonna jump in a van and go, man.
Well,
So I
let's
could
make
go,
it
but you
reality.
won't go. You're a pussy.
Let's
I'll
make it
go.
reality. You guys keep talking about it. Let's make it a
Hey,
reality.
why is that a negative term? Why is
What?
that? I thought men love pussies. Why is that a derogative term?
You're a
I've
giant.
never understood that.
Yeah.
He said that to me because I couldn't do it before because I was working. I ain't working.
It's better than saying China. You know
Like,
what I mean?
When dudes call each other pussy, it's like you do realize that's like the strongest muscle in the female body, right?
Oh,
I
it is.
didn't know
I
that.
see what come out of there.
Point.
All right,
Never
can we
was the
can
same
we
after
get on
that.
to something?
I shoved a lot of stuff in there.
You know, we got the people from Grand Forks Besters watching us too. And I don't
All
want
right, we're going south here. Let's change the subject.
I don't want to.
Hey,
John
all
to get
I'm saying
canceled.
is, if you guys do come up here, do it in the summer. Don't do it in the winter.
You'll
Or
never
do it
want
in the fall. Do it in the fall. You know, you got time.
I
No,
believe
there's just
that.
way more things to do in the summer.
Yeah,
Just
but
way
you
more
can still
things
do it in
to
the
do.
fall. Anyway, so let's change the subject now. Earlier in the pre-show, before we went live here, I mentioned to you guys about what's coming up on the next show, on our 10th show, in 2 weeks from today, when we come back from our little break. We're doing something different, well, that I don't normally do. When I'm doing it for a friend. I'm doing it because I feel like she could be a good candidate for what she's doing, and I feel because of who we have on our roster here, our crew. We got a news guy, we got local people that are, also that are, running for things and whatever, that know about schools and what they probably need or whatever. Well, her name is Lindsay Gregory. She's from Rose originally, and she's running for school board. Have you guys have any experience with school board things before? I'm sure John Roberts, you have. Have you ever interviewed anybody
Yeah.
from school board? How's that normally go? 'Cause
Yeah.
she's so scared she has no idea what to expect. So it's like, but I told her we'll be fine. We'll go easy on you, but we are gonna probably ask some tough
Right now
questions.
is easy. Right now is easy pickings because we're still reeling from the pandemic 4 years later. More and more people homeschooling, more and more people on chartering now.
Uh-huh.
And the teachers aren't teaching the 3 R's anymore. They're just not. I mean, you come to Minnesota, they're more worried about putting tampon machines in boys' bathrooms than they are teaching. There's no more history being taught anymore. And some of these old school people, they want this shit back like it was when we went to school.
Oh, sure.
So it's easy interviewing these people right now. Believe me, for school boards, when the pandemic was going on and kids were being homeschooled. I mean, I'm not kidding you. You grab a case of beer, get yourself a big bowl of popcorn, and then you watch the school board meeting. You watch the stream, and it was crazy. I mean, people were getting escorted out by the cops, and and people wearing masks and not wearing masks, and it was like a heyday. It was fun. It could be a good show.
One of the problems she's facing right now, I think one of the things that's getting her all fired up is the fact that the school board is passing this thing that says that they already have vape detectors and cameras in the student bathrooms.
That's illegal.
Really? I didn't know that.
That's illegal.
They can have the detectors. I got no problem with the detectors, but not cameras. But
I know.
Then again, if they budget the money, why not have a bathroom monitor?
Dude, I would drop my drawers and scratch myself.
I mean, it could be. Here's the deal. It could be it could be a guy in the girls' bathroom in Minnesota. That's not the deal. The issue is, oh my God, was he vaping? Come on.
Yeah.
No, he was in there buying a tampon. Okay, we're good then.
Okay, wait a second. I just saw her post. I need to clear this up before this because this is live. She says on her post, it was pointed out to her by a concerned parent that there would be cameras in the bathrooms. That is not true. The article was definitely worded wrong. There will be vape detectors in the bathrooms and cameras in the hallways just to keep kids from vaping at school.
That sounds right. Yeah.
There's cameras in the
bathroom.
I tell my kid to go right up to that camera, drop his pants, and start scratching himself right in front of him every day. I'm saying, you'll be able to come home tonight. I guarantee they stop having them cameras on.
The other thing that they're dealing with, I guess, is the 2-mile walk zone issue, which I guess, growing up in a small town, we didn't, I never had this issue because I live real close to my school, so walking to school wasn't a big deal, but now they're kind of making a big issue about people who live.
Oh, I walk to school uphill both ways.
Otherwise you gotta pay. Otherwise your parents have to pay for the school bus. And the Grand Forks, when my ex and I moved to Grand Forks with our kids, we were very surprised. We were very lucky that the home we found was only like 4 blocks away from the school that my children were attending. Because we found out that you had to pay for every bus ride for every kid. And being from Minnesota, that was never, ever an issue, no matter how far or how close you lived to the school that you were attending. There was never, that's what school funding is for. So the kids can get food, so they can get a ride to freaking school on the school bus. I mean, and when we found that out, we're like, oh my God, that's lucky we only live a few blocks away. But can you imagine like living just on the edge of town or something? It just blows my mind that you have to pay for a tent. So now one of the issues is that Lindsay is dealing with is, okay, the school board itself, lower attendance. They're not getting the funding they need because they have lower attendance. They don't have as many kids. Well, that's because all these parents are sick of paying all these fines and found out that it's so much easier since COVID. The government just shot itself in the foot. During COVID, they found out that homeschooling and online schooling is a lot easier. They don't have to pay as much. So of course, the attendance in schools is going to go down. Of course, you're not going to get as much funding, and of course, the prices for everything is going to go up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
On top, on top of charging,
you got me started.
On top of charging for public transportation for school buses, are they short school bus drivers?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
But Grand Forks doesn't bus much. It's not like growing up in Minnesota. But granted, I mean, in Minnesota, I rode the school bus where I didn't get home till way after dark a lot of times. But then in high school, I walked to school because we lived in a different place. But I still walked 2 miles probably to get to school every day. But Grand Forks, it's you either take your bike or you drive your car or you catch your ride with somebody. Because if you live anywhere in the city limits, there's no busing.
You took your snowmobile, your dog sled team, your
we were like a block away, maybe a block and a half away from our house's grade school, and a block and a half away from high school.
Oh, don't lie. We walked uphill both ways. That's what Daddy used to say. Oh, when I was a kid, I did shovel coal and then walk uphill both ways.
They bake potatoes in the fireplace overnight, and that's what you would take to lunch, and you would put it by your feet when you were riding in the horse wagon to keep your feet warm.
Yeah. Well, John
after you got done milking cows.
Well, I thought chocolate milk came from chocolate cows. Come on now, we all know that now, right?
No,
well, like
you guys, here's something we actually had back when I was younger. We had late bus, and that was for anybody that was in any extracurricular activities after school, sports, drama, band, music, whatever. Because the farmers couldn't. They couldn't take time off from being in the fields to go pick their kids up after practice. It was too valuable to stay out in the field. And so we had what was called late bus. Well, I lived on the edge, the far edge up by the college in Thief River Falls. And so I always took late bus home, and I wouldn't get home. I'd be the last one to get home because they'd go through all the country first and then catch me on the way back into town. I was right on the edge of town, but there were times I didn't get home from school on the bus till after 7 o'clock, 7:30 at night.
Wow.
Jesus.
Wow.
But it was a guaranteed ride. So you took it.
It's dark out too, man.
I suppose in
here in the winter, it's dark at 4:30.
Oh, yeah.
They're changing the time zone now because I think this is the last year we're doing it, and then it's done.
God, I hope so.
You can even look on our phones and keep tracking it. Yeah. And they showed happening in October.
Yeah.
And then come back in April, I think, or March. And then you go scroll after that and look at next November and March, it's not on no more. So I think this might be the last time.
I hope so. I'm tired of that dark at 5 o'clock.
It's going to help a little bit. It'll help us a little bit.
There's an
time change here is in the state. So part of the state's in one time zone, the other part of the state's in another time zone.
That's crazy.
There's an old native saying referring to the only a white man would think that cutting off the top of a blanket and adding that to the bottom of the blanket would make it longer.
So Lance, in your
my brother was so big, if he put one arm, either arm out, he covered 2 time zones.
I tell you. Lance, in your area, I mean, what's it like? I mean, you guys have any big issues in your school district at all, or?
I don't pay attention.
School, so I mean,
I don't really give a shit.
I'm not
Neither do I.
West Coast, sir.
What's funny is for years I also had dealt with retail. I've worked within the school districts. I've worked with them. My wife is a teacher for close to 25 years. I see all the BS that goes with it. She teaches like special ed high school at an alternative high school. So you want to talk about the dumpiest building, the no funding, I mean, I could go on and on also. So it's just, what I always say is I never see any sort of light at the end of the tunnel. It just seems like it's a continuous circle of bureaucratic nonsense
Bullshit.
that doesn't ever, yeah, exactly. That doesn't ever get anywhere. So
when you guys were growing up, what? Oh, sorry, what?
Oh, good.
I said, I have a quick story. So when the ALC was the Alternative Learning Center, or AKA Asshole's Last Chance, was created in Roseau, I was the first graduate, and they did a story about me in the paper. Well, it was basically about the ALC, not just about me, but I was the first graduate from there. So they had my picture on there, but in the story they said, well, teenagers end up quitting high school and going to the Alternative Learning Center because of issues at home or drug use or pregnancy. And my mom, there was no social media at the time. She was literally, my mom flipped her shit. Like, my daughter's not on drugs and she's not pregnant. Well, she didn't know I was smoking pot, but but that's not why I quit school, So everybody in the community thought that I was pregnant because of this news article about the ALC. Just story.
How many of you guys? I mean, granted, you guys are closer to my age. The majority of us are compared to these two on the other ones on the top here. But how many of you guys had teachers in your life growing up that were influences in your life that you still think about?
Absolutely.
I just have a feeling, one of my best friends, his whole dream in life was to be a teacher. He thought so highly of educating. And when he went to college, he ended up getting a job down in the cities. Granted, it was a mostly black school district, but there was nothing put into it. Nobody cared. Parents didn't care. Administration didn't care. He was a second grade teacher for like 3 years. So then they moved it from second to third grade. Well, he's got a kid, third grade in the middle of class, masturbating, and he's just like, it was so turned off. He quit, and he's been driving a Coca-Cola truck ever since. This was 30 years ago. But when you think about how it is, and Lance, you talk about it, hopefully your wife is going to be one of these people that influenced her students, because I just can't see it happening much anymore.
30 years ago, that was Johnny. That would have left Johnny 35. You'd have been in kindergarten.
Absolutely. I sent you guys the posts that we're talking about, so you keep track.
Definitely 3 teachers that influenced me growing up. One was my music teacher that I had through middle school and junior high, Mrs. Moline. She was the one that gave me the 3 solos every year. And then Mr. Klotz in grade school, Project Charlie. It taught you how to.
Antique Man can tell you. Tell him, Antique Man, you don't teach you in school doing that with special
what's
ed.
going on in Texas there?
And then the third one was Mrs. Olson, who got me into the what is that? It's the secondary something. I can't remember. It was prep for college courses in my English class, and she really liked my writing, and she really encouraged my writing a lot. There's I hope that there's
Bravo.
there that still can encourage and influence students longer in life. That, like, if Mrs. Olson hadn't encouraged my writing, I wouldn't be writing. If Mrs. Moline wouldn't have encouraged my singing, I wouldn't be singing. If Mr. Klotz hadn't encouraged my social anxiety, well, not encouraged, so help me deal with my social anxiety, I wouldn't be here. Yeah. Like everything I'm doing today was influenced from those 3 teachers. And I hope to God that these teachers today are influencing these kids.
First of all, I hated all my teachers. all them motherfuckers.
You only
They
made
talk
it to the
about-
third grade.
What got me turned on the way I am is there was a nun, and she was a beautiful nun, and she didn't wear the habit, and no, shut up, Tanya. Well, she knelt down in front of me, and I saw a little glimpse of a panty thing, and that was it. I was like fucking hooked on sex.
And you tell me to shut up?
And thank God they got a section called nuns. You know, I mean, true story. I don't know any of their names, but I'll tell you what.
Well, I was definitely influenced in school, more or less, because, you know, I was the guy that got made fun of all the time. I always was the one who got picked on all the time because I wasn't as cool as I am today, you know, believe it or not. I know it's hard to believe. You know?
You were less
Hard to
cool.
I was the guy with.
Shut up, Sean.
Not possible.
I'd have been the guy standing behind you, protecting you, because that's what I did. I never picked on nobody.
You weren't behind me, dude. I got
was-
picked on for being fat.
I was only one of about.
The mean girls were after me. I was a poor
I was
girl.
one of only about 3 or 4 guys that was allowed to even walk down senior hall. Most guys in my freshman class or sophomore class had to walk outside and walk a block to go to the end of the building to the gymnasium for Phi Ed. I was lucky enough. I hung around with older people, and then I sold them doobies at the side on my locker, and I played sports. So we all got along just great. They let me go down to senior hall.
My
Nobody messed with me. Nobody.
was when we were in. You guys keep reminding me of these stories, and I'll try to make it short. But you know me. There was a bully. There was a bully. He bullied everybody. And in junior high, we had to run all the way around Rosa High School for a Phi Ed. That was our warm up to run all the way around. And this guy, he got in front of everybody, and he's running and he's in front of everybody, and he turns around to mock everybody. And he's like, you fucking losers. You guys are all so slow. And he turns around to see where he's going and slams right into the no parking sign. He was laying on the ground.
Good.
And we all ran past him just laughing.
Like, you fucking loser.
I kicked him going by.
I
Kidney kick.
started football when I was a freshman, and the first kid that called me fat, I punched him straight square in the nose, and nobody bothered me again. And I protected all the kids like that.
did that in Jill. I did that in Jill. The first guy fucked me, I punched him. I got beat up real bad.
Mad Dog, you didn't go wrestling.
Kinda what?
You were a wrestler.
Jill.
I think I missed
Mad
there.
Dog?
You meant fuck with, right?
No, they fucked in the ass.
No, I mean, like, when you were in high school or whatever.
Maybe I don't want you guys to come up here.
Right.
You can hear me.
I loved high school because
Hey, what did you say, Sean?
No, what I was trying to say, I was asking Mad Dog a question because, you know, since he was a professional wrestler, did you ever do wrestling in high school at all?
No, we didn't have wrestling in high school.
Oh,
We were the only high school that didn't have. Our city league didn't have a wrestling program.
okay.
We had football, and then that was it. Football and baseball I played. I caught baseball. I played football. Yeah, we didn't have a wrestling program. They didn't get
So
one until.
You didn't go to the same school that Kurt Angle went to, then? Huh?
No, Kurt Angle was rich. He went to Mount Lebanon.
Oh.
Hey, how
The
about
Angles
Sid
were
passing
poor like
away?
me because the Angles grew up in my neighborhood.
Who passed away?
Psycho Sid. From
Sid
wrestling.
Yurdy, Sid Vicious.
Sid Udi or
When did Sid pass away?
Today
Today.
or this weekend.
Really? I didn't hear nothing about
Wait,
that.
who passed away?
Psycho
Psycho
Sid
Sid
Vicious, Sid Yurdy.
Sid Vicious.
Yeah,
Well,
63 years old, cancer.
He's my age. He was a tough character, nice guy.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
looking at the live chat right now. Darren Foss, when you were telling your story about the nuns, he said, "I bet you got none."
I seen that.
And Johnny's lying. All our nuns are so ugly.
Well, the first time, when I was 1 year old, or not 1 year old, first grade, I mean, we had this, the only teacher I remember is Sister Aurelia.
Oh, really? Was ugly.
She was a nun. She was a real bitch. So I had real long hair in the front, and I used to always, do that. So she called me over one time. She goes, "Mr. Reynolds, you got to comb." I says, "Yeah." She goes, "Comb your hair down in front of your eyes. Let me see how long it is." I thought, well, this bitch is cool. So I combed it down, and she grabs it and cuts it.
No. Oh.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And that's why I think I hate barbershops. I hate doctors and barbershops. Yeah. Then I went home to my mom, and what do? They take me to the barbershop and cut my hair the rest of the way off. And I was like, ever since I hate nuns, I hate teachers.
Sister William used to make you put your hands on the
No
table.
offense, Antique Man. I love you.
Hey, Sister William used to make you put your hands on the table and drop a big hunk of wood on your knuckle.
That's right.
Hey,
Was it
I had
wood?
I had a biology
It was a
teacher in
block
high
of
school.
wood, and she dropped it right down on your knuckle.
I thought maybe it was one of those nuns that.
I'm telling you, they were worse than the Nazis. They weren't Catholic, man. They were Nazis. I'm telling you. They marched and everything. You couldn't even if you even like sneezed in school, they'd backhand you.
So what about
I had a teacher.
I'm sure you have a story about your school. I'm sure you've had, being a special ed teacher, I'm sure you go through some school board issues or whatever, or do you not get yourself involved with stuff like that?
No, not that so much. And I started doing the special ed classes about 4 years ago. I just got too old and impatient to do middle school and high school kids anymore. But the one quick story, these eighth graders acting up, and as usual, then I'd get my old man anger and I'd shout out to be quiet, and it startled everybody. And 4 boys in the corner, and one boy goes, "Are you angry?" I said, "What?" He said, "Well, are you like angry like the Hulk?" And I said, "Well, let me tell you something. You see this scar on the front of my wrist?" "Yeah." I said, "You see this scar on the back of my wrist?" "Yeah." Now I got all their attention. I said, "This is where the bullet went in, and this is where the bullet went out." Now they're quiet, and the kid goes, "Wow." He said, "What happened to the guy that shot you?" I said, "Mr. Adams doesn't get angry, he gets even." And they shut the fuck up the rest of the classroom.
That's amazing. All right, John Roberts, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You tell yourself.
Yeah, he went up, "You see our teacher, he's cool, he got shot."
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, actually, it was a cyst removal and a jackknife cut. But anyway.
Go ahead, John.
I had a biology teacher in high school. He was kind of a nut job. He had he had these purebred Arabian horses. He lived out in the country, and he had this beautiful pre-stressed concrete barn with these individual stalls for all these horses, and he had music piped into him, and he was divorced. He didn't love never loved his wife, he claimed, but he loved his horses. But anyway, he was an Golden Gloves boxer. He was a nut job, man. He hung a kid out the window by his ankles and out of the classroom. Not a big deal. We're 3rd floor. We're on the 3rd floor.
And that was Michael Jackson?
No, it was Mr. Ball, and yeah, he caught me cheating in a test, and he punched me in the chest so hard. That's when the desk was still connected to the chair, and everything. I just went head over tea kettle, ass over heel. And I still, to this day, he was probably one of my biggest influences. I still was very friendly with him and sought his advice and talked to him a lot. I just deserved getting punched. But yeah, I mean, that's the shit we had to grow up, but we didn't even go home and tell your mom and dad about it.
Yeah, you got your ass
crap
kicked when you got home.
You would have got it worse when you got home if you told them.
Right.
And now these little wussies they're raising now. I know really good hockey coaches that have been fired because back in the day, what happens or said in the locker room stays in the locker room. These kids would come home and say, "Gee, Mom, Coach said we were playing like a bunch of pussies tonight." Next thing you know, Coach is looking for a job. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. It is.
Hey, my math teacher put me in a locker for 3 periods because I was jagging around too much. I missed lunch. I missed lunch in study hall. He goes, "That's good. You don't need to go to lunch in study hall. You're too fat." And he shoved me in a locker and left me there. I pondered on that fucking locker for 2 hours.
We used to have an 8th grade teacher in grade school, Mr. Capelli. He used to have tennis balls behind the desk. And if somebody wasn't doing what he wanted to do, he whipped the tennis ball at you. And I thought that was funny. I liked that. That was pretty cool.
It's not going to hurt you.
teacher that
Might hurt your feelings.
we had this teacher
Yeah.
that would always so if a student started falling asleep in the class, and he spoke in a monotone, right? And like and it would put you to sleep if you were already tired. And he would keep speaking in his monotone, giving his lesson, and then he would say something like, okay, well, you can see that so-and-so is asleep. So, okay, you guys all know the drill. Let's all pick up our books. And we all pick up our books. And on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, we all dropped our books and woke up the student that happened to be sleeping.
Oh,
And it was
God.
funny. That dude was funny. Only he did pick his boogers in class and lined them up on his desk and flicked them at people
Oh, jeez.
and looked down girls.
Oh,
Looked down
Did,
girls.
did anybody bring your
Mama,
teacher?
T, come on,
Did
man.
anybody bring your teacher an apple in the morning to school?
No.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of overplayed.
We used to bring our teacher weed.
Oh, jeez.
Mr. Ramage.
Wanted a teacher like that.
Mr. Ramage, if you got him high, man, you got an A that day.
That's funny.
South Hills was nuts. Johnny didn't go there. He went to a Catholic school. I had to go to the public school.
That's why I
Mommy
turned out the
couldn't
way I
afford
did.
to send the fat little one.
That's why I turned out like I did.
Yeah, retarded.
Tony, my brother Mad Dog, and my sister Ginny went to public schools, and they're the stupidest motherfuckers you ever met. Me and my sister, me and my sister went to Catholic schools, and we are the smartest ones.
No, you just believe you are because you went to Catholic school. They taught you to
Yeah.
think that.
I told you what
Yeah, but
happened,
then
so yeah, there was a
father
bad
used to
influence a
do
little
Hey,
bit.
ask him what the preacher used to. Ask him what the
Just say
preacher
it.
used to do. Ask him what the preacher used to do to him in the confessional box. The old
Yeah,
Catholic
right.
boy.
I
Get
don't
outta
want to
here.
know about. I don't want to know about Screaming Sam's butt stuff. I don't want to know.
Come on,
I'm not-
Catholic boy. Tell him what they did to you. What'd you get for a candy bar there, Catholic boy, huh? A little pee-pee spanked by father, you know who?
Oh my goodness!
Come on, you have to go
Our
get
priest-
therapy
our
now,
priest-
fat boy.
I think I told this story. Our priest taught me how to play guitar, and my mom even said, "Did he ever pat
And
you
which
on the ass
strings
or
did he
anything?"
teach you on?
Huh?
Which strings did he teach you on?
And there was nothing there. He was a cool dude.
Yeah. He played the guitar naked.
That's funny. You guys.
What the hell's wrong with you people?
Now
That
we
is
really figured it out.
Perfect. That's perfect. That is
Hey,
exactly
how'd you
what I
like the
want people
peace
to
pipe
think
I made?
watch this show.
Yeah, I'm not telling you anything about school, so
Because that's so much
Well,
we
come
get
on
so much
now.
of a broader audience.
I bet you Lance was the cool kid in school. I bet you he never got picked on at all.
Lance looks like a good kid. Like he followed all the rules.
He was one of
And
those.
And he was a
jocks
mother
that
hunter after 12th grade.
loved-
Now remember, he was an actor too, so you know.
it was that if cell phones had existed there, my mom was on speed dial with every single administrator because it was constantly this.
Style.
Where the hell is Lance? He's not here. Where
Wow.
is he?
Speed dial.
Yeah,
That means
that's
you're
what
not
it
as
would
old
have
as you
been.
look.
Oh no! I mean, if it would have been, we'd be there. 'Cause
Oh, okay.
it was first name basis. They would just pick up the phone and I have Lance here, or where is he? And that was always the issue.
Sure.
How about when you had kids? I mean, were they pretty good students in school? Were they popular? Did they get picked on? I mean, was it kind of up and down kind of for you as a parent?
You know what? I got to be honest. At that, I would say that my kids did not experience a ton at all of bullying, any more than what I would say would have been just a very normal amount of I'm just picking on you for this, that, and the other. Compared to what I know exists now, they were very fortunate,
Oh, that's good.
you know.
Good.
Right.
Oh, that's good though.
And
You
that was
gotta-
a small ass town, so that was,
Yeah.
you know, that's the
I'm
bad
reading the
thing.
comments, man. I'm just
Dying.
dying.
Laugh and everything in the chat.
Just
Are you
ignore
laughing
me. I'm
at
just like
that?
reading these comments and like freaking dying
Oh,
over here.
You guys like my peace pipe? I made that out of a hatchet.
Watching on the best source or whatever live feed or on the replay. Now, I was just going to say we didn't air the replay
I made this out of an old hatchet.
Of last week's show because
Love it.
aired the show brand new, and the way Paul wants to do it now from now on is that if we come down to the studio and do a studio version of the show, then that will be the only airing of it on the best source for that Monday. So because it's too much BS with too many channels to remember, and it's like if we were to do a replay of that episode that we just did last week, then and record another YouTube video, and you don't need a copy of a copy. So it's like
he would have been there late downloading everything.
Yeah, and I understood that. I mean, I didn't think about that at first. And then I thought, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's just good to. So that's why we only do once a week, as far as the replay goes. But that's just because we're doing it from home here. But the next time I want to come down there, then I will let him. I'll ask him if it's available. But my birthday, September 30th, I want to do a birthday show over there. Yeah. So that'll be
coming up.
Oh, a little over a month anyway.
I'm pretty sure we know the owner.
How old will you be?
41.
By the way, when the beet harvest starts, I'll be off. I'll be gonzo.
Okay.
That's usually 10 days to 2 weeks.
Yeah, you gotta go pick the beets. You gotta go pick the beets.
You're gonna be doing the beet
No,
off?
I don't pick them. I drive them. I drive a semi. Oh, it's good money. I basically work.
Good money.
I probably work 18. Well, I probably work about 17, 18 hours a day at that time.
Yeah, that's
sometimes longer. Because I mean, I jump in the beat truck at noon or 1, and I go till midnight. Well, then you're wound up, and you get home. Maybe if you're lucky, you get to bed by 2, and then I get up at 5:30 to go to work again and do it until. As soon as I leave, sometimes I even change clothes at the studio and go right to the farm shop and jump in a semi again, and here you go.
Man, you do everything, don't you?
It's a crazy couple of weeks, but
you do everything, don't you? Are you the mayor and everything too?
No,
absolutely.
I live in the country. I can't be. No, it's just
I bet
there's these opportunities up here. No, but I'm friends with some of them. So no, but there's these opportunities up here to do that kind of stuff where the beet harvest up here, you guys, is crazy. I mean, it is a production like you would not believe. It is controlled chaos with semi after semi nonstop going to all these different places and people in and out and conveyors and up and down and it's nonstop 24/7 until it's done. It's crazy that my semi last year ran for almost 13 straight days without being shut off. I mean, that's just crazy.
A lot by the DOT?
You do. You listen and you follow along on the radio. Everybody's always talking on the 2-way, and they'll tell you where there's somebody set up, and if you're overloaded. We don't overload. It's just not worth it. So and the guy we drive for, I can stop and pick up my wife. They don't care if she rides with me. You don't need a CDL for farming, if that's what you're doing for a job.
Oh, really?
Otherwise, they'd never be able to get the car. Yeah, they never be able to get the harvest. You just have to have a driver's license, and you can go get a job for a month at the factory here. It's straight down the road from my house. No drug tests, no nothing. They hire like 1,100 temps,
and that's a good thing in a way, but in a bad thing, there's so many people that come here just for that job that can't even read English or read street signs and have no idea how to drive. And that's why all the radio stations are like, drive freaking careful. Drive careful. You give them the right of way. Whether you have the right of way legally or not, give those beat trucks the right of way because, they're they're making money for our community because they don't want to say they don't know how to read the English.
Oh yeah,
That's good
your
money.
your head's on a swivel. Yeah,
Yep.
because when you're hauling, I mean, I'm hauling a lot, 90,000 pounds, and it takes me over a mile just to get up to 55 miles an hour with a full load. So you have to be very careful, and it's
You
just
don't even need it. You
they're
don't even
everywhere.
need it. You don't even need a Class B2 license
No.
to drive a semi.
No,
Are they
No.
state
No.
body or are they separated?
It's
Wow.
like
huh?
so
That's
there's
crazy.
the semi trucks that like the big 18 wheelers that yes you have to have a CDL to drive the big 18 wheelers, but they have these B trucks that are smaller that are what
No, I drive
a
a regular semi. It just doesn't have a sleeper on it, but mine's a regular semi. You have to have your CDL if you don't own the farm. So if I own a truck and I'm going to rent myself out to these farmers, I would have to have a CDL. But since I'm working for the farmer, I don't have to have one. And I would much rather drive a semi than like a tri or a quad axle because I think they're easier. You can turn easier, you can maneuver easier, they're easier to take care of, easier to see.
That's up
I
to
don't know, but
the farm owner because the CDL is under his name, and he is responsible for the paperwork saying that yes, I've trained this person how to drive.
I just put mine in escrow.
Yeah.
I just put mine in escrow. Over here in Pittsburgh, since I ain't driving no more, I can take it off without paying for it, put it away, and if I need it, I can go back and get it and just pay up to date on it. Because I have everything. I could drive heavy equipment. I could drive a trailer truck. I could drive anything.
I can drive anything with wheels. Might take me a minute not to hit anything,
I could drive earth movers, anything, backhoes, anything you
Dan
can.
O'Keefe.
My
Dan
favorite
O'Keefe.
drive
Oh, sorry,
is
good. Okay, tell him. You can see it, can't you, Dan O'Keefe?
oh my god, I know. I've been just
Hi, Danny.
He said,
Dan's
"Tony,
been
get
blowing
your."
this chat up, and I've just been laughing my ass off. I'm not laughing at you guys. I'm like watching. I'm following this
Tony
chat
said,
as we go, and Dan is just.
Dan said Tony has a CDL, but he don't know his fucking ABCs.
Thanks, buddy. I love you too.
Well, I think it's time before we get to our guests tonight. We're going to do our segment, and everybody loves segments. Yeah. How to be a jagoff. That's the segment with Mad Dog, right?
A jagoff.
Yeah. This tonight's segment is just some funny. We'll say funny punny jokes. So they're just basically just I say the joke and you guess the punchline. I guess.
Okay.
Okay. So
sounds good.
Doesn't take too much.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun time, right? Because everybody loves my segments. That's the reason why people watch the show. It's not because of our humor and everything.
Not because
I have a hard time hearing everybody here.
Because.
All right, so here's the first punny joke, and punny is PUNNY, just in case you're wondering out there. All right, so the first joke is, why did the ghost go to rehab?
Why?
Because he was too high.
The ghost?
Yeah, why did the ghost go to rehab?
Because everybody was seeing through him.
Okay, well, that's not close.
That's a good one.
He was addicted to booze.
Boo!
Boo!
Oh, come on. Come on. All right, fine.
Next.
Let me find a knife here and slice my throat.
All right. Well, you do that live on camera, we'll get a lot of views that way. Okay, perfect. Why did the car get a flat tire?
Car get a flat tire?
Yeah, why did the car
get Johnny was in it.
Oh, because there was a fork in the road.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Whoa.
Hey, you don't give us a chance. You don't give us a chance
Wait,
to
don't
guess
answer
it.
right away. Give us a couple seconds.
Well, I'll give you a chance this time. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was going to say, because there was a fork in the road.
You were going to say that. All right, fine. I'll go easier on this one. Actually, this is a statement mostly. It's I stayed up all night and tried to figure out where the sun was. Then it dawned on me.
Wow.
So it was our dad.
Um,
All right, so here's a joke now.
That's
How
a good
did the
one.
how did the hipster burn his mouth?
Stuck it on a tailpipe.
The hipster burned his mouth.
Yeah, how did the hipster burn his mouth?
Oh man, I don't know.
Anybody else
Wait.
have a guess?
Tanya's looking this shit up.
Okay, let's get to it. It's because he ate.
Come on, mama.
He ate his pizza before it was cool. You know, because he's a hipster.
Oh my god.
It's coffee before it was cool.
is it time for the guest yet?
Not-
Oh my
Go
god.
over yet.
What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the
Please.
closet?
I didn't hear that.
What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet?
Who dare?
The other guesses?
Wash your pee-pee.
Oh.
You locked me up? I don't know.
He said, supplies.
Supplies.
Oh,
That was
the
supposed to be a
Chinese.
Japanese janitor. That was
Uh,
supposed to
Wasn't
be
that
a
the
Japanese
Christmas
janitor.
story?
Surprise.
I knew that one, but I was like, I was
Supplies.
we're gonna tell
Supplies.
them joke, but then I was like, wait a minute, yeah, he is, and just as I
That
was
should have
thinking,
been, you know what that should have been?
A Japanese
What did the janitor say with the speech impediment when he jumped out of the locker?
No, it's supposed to be what did the
Surprise!
Japanese. No, it's
All
supposed to
right,
be what
all
did
right,
the
all right.
Japanese janitor say when he jumped out of the locker? Supplies.
what did the
Like ba rah 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 rah.
janitor say when he jumped out of the closet?
Supplies.
Yeah, we already did that one already. Now we're moving on.
You
This
didn't. You
one's
You guys
didn't.
are
one's
screwed up in
more-
the head.
This one's more of a statement as well, but it's funny. Have you heard about the band called 1023 MB? It's probably because they haven't got a gig yet.
Oh my gosh.
Dan O'Keefe's got one. Dan O'Keefe's
I
got
don't
one.
know how we're still on the air.
All right. Nope. Dan O'Keefe says if a cowboy came to town on Wednesday and stayed 3 days and left on Wednesday, how did he do it?
I didn't know we were doing
I
basketball.
know the answer.
Cowboy came
cowboy.
to town on
I don't know. He
Wednesday.
hasn't posted the answer yet. Come on,
Yeah, he said
Dan.
a cowboy. Oh, he meant cowboy. Yeah, what's the answer, Dan?
A cowboy came today on a Wednesday, stayed 3 days and left on a Wednesday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
How do you do that?
He's Saturday. He's Saturday.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Saturday.
Oh, wait,
Saturday.
his horse was named Wednesday. Good job,
He
Dan.
came to town on a Wednesday. The horse
Why did
was
the
named
I
cowboy-
rode his horse into town on
and he
Wednesday.
left on a Wednesday.
Let's do it.
Why did
All
the
right.
cowboy buy a dachshund? Why did
Good
the
job.
cowboy buy a dachshund, a wiener dog?
A Dotson and a dog.
Why? Well, dachshund's a wiener dog. Why did the cowboy buy one?
I don't know.
He wanted to get along, little doggy.
I've heard that one before too.
Yeah.
All right, here's we were talking about school and everything, so here's a school joke here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. Why should you wear glasses to math class?
So you can see the answers.
Okay.
So you can see division.
Well, you're close. You're close. It says because it helps with division.
What do you get?
Help with division.
Everybody
Get
knows this
division.
one.
Help with division.
Everybody knows this one. What do you get when you cross an elephant with a rhino?
I said that already.
I didn't hear it.
Elefino.
Elefino.
Wow.
Say it again.
Good
Play
thing
it
my
again,
gun
Dan.
didn't boom.
Yeah, don't shoot yourself.
Well, let's
What's
see.
the difference?
What do you get when you cross an elephant with a rhino?
Yeah,
Elefino.
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 What do you get?
What's the
What do you
difference?
What do you get if you cross a blonde with an owl? A fucking know-it-all.
Oh, fucking know-it-all. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Wow.
You know, the fucking part is. Never mind.
Never
It's
mind.
funny if I have to explain it.
Here's another funny joke. Why did the birthday boy wrap himself in paper?
Wait, well, I didn't hear that.
Why did the birthday boy wrap himself in paper?
In paper?
Yes.
Because he was gifted.
Close. Because he wanted to live
I
in the
know.
present.
Oh.
Oh, he wanted to leave what impression?
He wanted to live in the present.
Oh.
Why did the blonde write TGIF on her shoes?
I
don't know.
Hose going first.
That's a good one.
How do you get a blonde
Why did the
pregnant?
blonde use lipstick on her forehead? Because she wanted to make up her mind.
Why
Are
did
you
the
looking
blonde?
these up too?
Why wouldn't the blonde buy a VW? Because she didn't know how to spell it.
Wow. Okay, I'll do one more joke and then that'll be the end of this segment. And you guys can.
Okay.
Just one.
I knew a blonde that wanted to be
Just because you're the host, you get the last joke.
Well, I mean, you can if you got any more after me, that's fine, and I'll send the invite to our next
I'll run the show out on blonde jokes. Trust me, my ex sister-in-law and my cousin were best friends, and I had to learn a lot of blonde jokes in order to.
I can run the show out with a guy with no arm and leg jokes.
Matt?
Yeah.
All right, here's my last joke for tonight. Okay. What do you call a dog that's been run over by a steamroller?
I heard this one. What the shit?
Blonde who has been run over by a steamroller.
A dog, right? You said?
No.
He said a dog.
Oh, a dog. Oh. I don't know that
one. Tea.
It's almost like she's looking up answers.
I thought she was on the bathroom.
I thought I had that one.
The answer is Spot.
Oh my god.
It's what?
Spot. Wow.
Wait, what was it?
Spot. That was our dog's name, you little.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
That's how Johnny got the dog to play. We used to put peanut butter on his wiener.
You guys are fucking terrible. Where's our guest anyway? Oh, wait. Dan, I got to tell Dan. He says, why don't blondes work in M&M factories? I already said this joke at the beginning of the segment. You missed I said because they
threw out the W.
Fired from their jobs. And I said, yeah, I got my customer service or not customer service, quality assurance job at the M&M factory because I kept throwing out all the W's.
I used to eat them.
It was so funny the first time you had to say it again.
I ate all the W's.
Because Dan just said, why don't blondes work in M&M factories? And then he answered it with, they throw away all the W's. I already told that joke, dude. Tune in sooner.
Dan,
Why
you're
did you
way there.
do a Mexican?
That goes to show how much Dan pays attention to our show.
Right? Jackass. Okay.
All right, well, I sent our guest
is actually what he just said I missed the beginning of the show. I was late. Obviously.
I sent Michael the invite, so he'll be here pretty soon or whatever.
That's like this Dan calls me at probably midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning to ask me a question. I went to bed at 10. Then he leaves his phone number to call me, and then I call him, and he fucking never answered it. What the fuck, Dan? I go to bed at 10 o'clock. I try to go to bed at 10 o'clock because I get up early every morning.
And you answering me at midnight. I'm not going to see it till 8 later. Oh, he says he's busy rolling joints.
I just got done smoking. I'm messed up, man.
That's fine. Well, you haven't taken up yet, so that's great. You know, you've been here for the whole show. That's wonderful.
I got to tell you guys, I'm so glad to be back. I miss you guys so much, and you are totally what I need right now at this time in my life. We were
Oh,
talking.
We are so
earlier.
happy. I
Welcome
couldn't
back,
wait.
Mama T.
I honestly, I think I even texted you, said, please come back, because it's nice to have a
You
woman
gotta
who's
have
smart.
just at
Okay,
least
one more blonde
much
joke.
estrogen in the show.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just a boy's club.
Why did the blonde bang a Mexican dude? Because the teacher
I
said this
don't know.
weekend we got to do an essay.
Essay.
Hello, essay. Ah, what's happening? Go Raiders!
Maybe Mad Dog is Mexican. I don't know. He looks like
Okay, I
Here,
tried.
it's
What the hell?
Hispanic.
a vato or
No
whatever.
more jokes.
Taco.
Well, anyway, yeah. So for those that are just tuned in, just to recap a little bit, this will be our last episode for the next 3 weeks. Well, 3 weeks we'll be back. We're just taking a break because there's a lot of stuff going on. That it's Labor Day, and of course that's the time of the year where we honor women that are giving birth, and we all need to pause for reflection on that day, for those important things. So.
Or something like that.
There's some
No, if he was serious or not. I thought we honored people that worked for a living.
Well, I mean, that's what I thought it was. Labor Day, right? All the women giving birth. We all
In
honor
Pittsburgh, here we have a big picnic for all the union workers. Nobody having babies, buddy.
Dan.
Anyway, so our guest is here. There he is. What's going on?
Hey.
How's it going, my friend? How you doing?
KLASTORIN, the historian.
Greetings.
Hello, my friends. How are you all?
Yeah, welcome.
Good.
We're doing great. We're honored
Fantastic.
to have you on the show. Of course, I'm Frankie. You already know me already, but welcome to Renegade Radio. This is the show that I was telling you about. That podcast that we've been doing now for over a year. We're kind of on the road to year 2 now. Had our 1-year anniversary show last week, and you're our last guest for summer, and you're our 45th guest, by the way. So of this year, so pretty cool.
Well, I am honored to be the 45th Renegade to join you.
Yes. So could you just give the audience? We do have some really good followers here, and if we all introduce ourselves, it's going to take forever. Can you introduce yourself for just for the people who have no idea who you are?
But I've already met myself. Why would I introduce? Of course. My name is Michael KLASTORIN. I have been in the motion picture business for a very long time as a publicist, as an author, most notably on projects like Lethal Weapons 2 and 3, and definitely most notably Back to the Future 2 and 3, which led to me writing a book on Back to the Future, on the making of all the films, which is called Back to the Future, The Ultimate Visual History.
Wow.
And how much is it?
That, in fact, led to my latest book.
Further, I want you to continue introducing yourself, but if people are just tuning in, how much is that book and how do they find it?
This book you can find on Amazon in any number of places, and the prices will vary. I don't control them, unfortunately. But then the other book, which we can talk about more, which was inspired by the first book, is called Creating Back to the Future, the Musical.
Oh, wow.
Where I spent, there it is.
Right in frame there.
There's my name. Prove it. I wrote it. And I'll show you my driver's license if that'll help.
No. Believe you.
Well, you also wrote that book about Close Encounters of the Third Kind that I also still have in my collection.
I did.
Good one
What?
too.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, we go
Like
way. I go way back to like
the mashed potato pile. The mashed potato pile, third encounters.
Close Encounters, yeah.
Yeah, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Anyway, Michael, we're happy to have you on the show because this has been kind of a long time coming. I know I got a hold of you a few months ago about doing something, and you said that just when it got closer to tour time for the Broadway musical of Back to the Future, and you know, I'm just happy that that they decided to do something like this in the first place, because I know it's pretty much what, this of the first film and not of the other ones at all.
Yes, it's all it's the plot of the first film, and it's been in the works for a long time, and it opened first in the UK in 2020 in Manchester of the UK, which is up to the north. And that's like, you know, when Broadway has a show, they do out of town tryouts, they do previews and things to fine tune the musical. In when a show is going to the West End in London, they usually go to a place like Manchester. So they did that. They spent many months rehearsing and fine tuning it. The show opened in Manchester to tremendous reviews, and then the world closed because of COVID. Now, that took a little time to figure out. So instead of reopening in Manchester, they had to wait a good long time anyway, and they went to London, where they opened it in London in 2022. It's the musical is a labor of love, and what makes the musical so important as a Back to the Future property are the people who were involved, starting with Bob Gale, who co-wrote and co-created the entire franchise, and Robert Zemeckis was involved, and Alan Silvestri, who wrote the most amazing score in the world for the movies, and many others. And he and a songwriter producer named Glenn Ballard, who has won Grammy after Grammy and has worked with artists like Michael Jackson and Alanis Morissette, and the two of them wrote the songs and the score for the musical. So the thorough I'm sorry, the pedigree rather of the musical was right up there. And the thing about it was, the four of them who were the initial, the core four, as I call them, they were not going to let this musical continue or open unless it was Back to the Future. And when I first saw it, it was from a stream of the first performance in the UK in Manchester. And I like to say I had the worst seats in the house because it was a camera from the back of the theater. But I had no idea what to expect, because as connected as I am to the franchise, I hadn't really talked a lot about it with Bob Gale, who I talked to most of all. So I didn't really know what to expect, but I knew that it was going to be quality. It wasn't going to be some knockoff in a, you know, to grab people's money. It wasn't a money grab. And when I ended up seeing it, I was thrilled and delighted. And what led to the writing of the book about the making of the musical was my earlier book, because I had been asked to update it, revise it for 2020, for the 35th anniversary of the franchise. So it was logical that I would include the musical, which had already opened and then closed. So I did a lot of interviews with the actors and the director and the whole production, the people who put it together, production designer, costumer, special effects, the producer in London, who was very key. And as I was interviewing everybody, I thought, this is crazy. this needs to be its own book. This just can't be a few pages at the end of my other book, which it is, but it was the impetus. It needed to be this. It needed to be all these pages and photos and the songs and the lyrics and secrets and some not so secret. But it's
behind everything.
It is a world that I appreciated theater and musicals. I grew up in New York. I saw a lot of them. But being in the middle of the entire thing, embedding myself with them for many weeks and getting to see everything happen and the process, I fell in love with it. Now, the key to this musical, and I am telling everybody out there who is a Back to the Future fan, and especially right now a Minnesotan Back to the Future fan, go see this musical. It is brilliant. I have literally seen, between previews and rehearsals in both London and Broadway, I've seen this show well over 100 times.
And if people are lazy and don't want to follow the links, where can they go to watch this musical?
The musical is going to be playing, give me 1 second, at the Orpheum Theater.
That's in, is that Minneapolis?
Minneapolis.
In Minneapolis. And it opens on September the 10th for 2 weeks.
Yes.
And the show, this is a touring company, so they're going all over the country to various cities. I just saw them for the first time in Washington, D.C. a couple of weeks ago, and they're terrific. The show has lost none of its magic, none of its excitement or entertainment, and none of its spectacle. Bob Gale has always said about people who say they want a Back to the Future 4 is that they don't really want a Back to the Future 4. What they want is to be reminded about what excited them about Back to the Future. And this show does that in spades. There are a few changes because they didn't think they wanted to have Doc shot to death on a Broadway stage or any stage. So the reason that Marty has to drive the DeLorean is because Doc has gotten radiation poisoning from a leak in his radiation suit when he's putting plutonium in the DeLorean. So Marty has to get in the DeLorean and drive to the hospital. And Doc is yelling as he drives away, "Don't drive 88." Of course he does, etc., etc., and we're back in 1955.
Oh wow!
The characters are terrific. There aren't people who are imitating the cast. They're influenced by the movie, but they own their own characters and they bring their own characters to life, and they are just such fun. There are moments which don't happen in a movie theater. Well, sometimes they do, but when you're with an audience and George punches out Biff, a cheer goes up around you, a couple of thousand people. And it's, when I interviewed Roger Bart is a brilliant actor of stage, screen, and television. And Roger originated the role of Doc in the UK, and now he is also with it on Broadway. When I interviewed him, the first time I interviewed him, I told him I had seen the video and I liked it very much. And he said to me, "Well, I'm glad to hear you liked it, but you haven't really seen the show." He says, "You have to be in the theater. You have to be surrounded by the fans. You have to be surrounded by the energy that's coming from us, which we then take from you. And you know,
Oh, yeah.
months and months later, I looked him in the eye and I said, "You were right." I mean, there's nothing. You're in Back to the Future that night.
It's like the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Better, even better, because the Rocky Horror Picture Show doesn't have DeLoreans and lightning explosions.
No, I mean, I'm trying to.
I know what you're saying. I'm just.
How can we find out where it's going to be? Like, is it going to come to Pittsburgh? Is it going to go to Ohio? Is it going to go? You know what I mean?
You can. There's a website, and you'll have to forgive me because I don't. It's Back to the Future, the musical, I believe, that has the dates in every city that it's going to.
Good.
And like I said, it's going.
It goes to the big cities like in Minnesota, Anthony, not Pennsildania. Sorry, I had to do that. I had to do that, man.
I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I'm pretty sure Pennsylvania is probably on there somewhere.
I guarantee it is. The City of Champions, it got to be on there.
We do have some very faithful viewers, some faithful fans of our show here, and one of them has been kind of blowing up the chat a little bit. Hey, Michael, big Back to the Future fan. Oh, now somebody else said something. Okay, he says, is Michael close with any of the Back to the Future cast?
Not at the moment, but because I'm alone. But I've known them. I've known them all for over 30 years. I worked on the sets of Back to the Futures 2 and 3 every single day. Spent all the time, and we're still in touch. I see them at conventions. I saw pretty much the entire cast came to New York before the show opened on Broadway. There was a special benefit for Michael J. Fox's foundation. So Chris Lloyd, Leah Thompson, James Tolkien, Mark McClure, I could go on and on. 98% of the cast of the film was there with their new theatrical counterparts, and it was a spectacular show. Michael,
nice.
That's so awesome.
Yeah,
Michael absolutely loved it, as did everybody. Christopher Lloyd had been involved just in some promotional stunts where he basically gave Roger Bart the keys to the DeLorean to sort of hand over the.
But you got those keys. No.
Yeah, where you get those keys?
You know, it's
we do have
enough because
it sounds like
I'd really like to know what Christopher Lloyd was like in real life, Michael. But I can remember watching him, you know, when he was Reverend Jim Ignatowski in Taxi way back in the day, and how good he was back then. He must have just been a blast to work with.
Chris is tremendous. I mean, Chris is an amazing actor and an amazing person, and I am honored to even be in his orbit in any way, shape, or form. I actually got to know Chris before Back to the Future because I worked on a film called The Dream Team with Michael Keaton and Chris. Oh, yeah. And that's where he and I first met. So
that's a good movie.
Got to know each other there, and then he didn't realize that 35 years later we'd still be seeing each other.
Why, Will?
It's amazing how the movie keeps growing and growing every year. It gets bigger and bigger, even though you know it's been how many years now.
Well, you know that's been addressed by a lot of people, and the thing is, Back to the Future has been called the perfect movie for any number of reasons, and what it has done over the years, and Michael J. Fox has said the movie about time travel has become timeless. People who saw the movie in 1985.
I can't find your Wi-Fi network. Open the Google Home app to reconnect to Wi-Fi.
No, you're good. You're good. You don't have to reconnect. You're fine.
Go ahead, Michael.
I hate it when that happens.
I do want to say, Michael, real quick, as long as we got that.
Yeah.
You know, we, speaking of being honored, we are honestly honored to have you here on our little podcast.
Oh God.
Radio,
oh,
honestly.
Please. I'm honored to be your guest. I mean, you guys are terrific. And listen, I love.
This must be the first second met us, huh?
What's that?
That was a joke. Like you said, you were honored to be here. Like
I am.
You must have a really
good. I love a chance to talk to fans, be they interviewers or fans who come to Comic-Cons or signings and all that stuff. It's great because I know if they're fans, they have good taste. So we already have something in common.
I will say, Michael, and not to change the subject at all because I know what we're talking about and everything, but I will tell you that in our show, in our crew, you're actually being honored by. We actually have some movie royalty, we'll say, in our crew. Guess which? I suppose you wouldn't know who that would be, but he's right.
Tell me.
He's right in the middle of you. His name is Lance Warlock, and he has a famous father that was in the movie franchise or movie business for a long time. Tell Michael about your little.
Well, as I was sitting here remembering everything, it's like I ended up doing a very little bit of work with Dean Cundy, who was director of photography on Back to the Future 1. And then
2 and 3.
Okay. And then looking at your IMDb, I had seen that you had worked way back in the day on the Swamp Thing. And the Dick Durock was actually a guy, because my dad was a stunt man. I grew up going to the stunt office, and I knew Dick well before the Swamp Thing. And then there was one other little tie, because you also did some stuff for that Texas Chainsaw 3D. And I actually ended up doing some music in the special features of the DVD. So it's neat to see a small world. And as I have grown and been around the business, I can only imagine from the publicist's end how night and day from the very early 80s, how that was trying to get the word out, so to say, versus now, which I would assume is so much easier in terms of social media, YouTube, Facebook, this stuff.
Each film is different in its needs for publicity. And Swamp Thing was my very first movie as a unit publicist. So I have very, very fond remembrances of it. And I love Dick Durock. I mean, Dick was such a wonderful man.
Yeah.
And I miss him. I recently reunited with Ray Wise, who played Alec Holland. And I hadn't seen Ray since pretty much we had done the movie. And that was wonderful. But my point being that over the years, there have been challenges to get publicity, but there have also been challenges to keep publicity away. My job on Back to the Future 2 and 3 was to keep people from finding out secrets. And it was a lot easier when people didn't have television studios on something like this and carrying it in their pockets. So, they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. I'd argue with you on that a little bit, but the thing is, there are very few secrets now in the business.
Sure.
And most event films will usually have to try and beat the the people who are trying to leak by bringing Robert Downey Jr. to Comic-Con and having him come out in a green robe. Nobody saw that coming, so they did it very well. So it's an each film is its own experience, and I've been on some amazing films. I count myself very, very lucky. There's the occasional ones that I wouldn't be urging you to go see. We'll just put it that way. And then there are a few where you can, if you look closely, you see me on screen too. I know that I have a big following from Back to the Future 3, where I played a cowboy.
Yeah, they said they said that one was kind of like the underrated Back to the Future, because a lot of people love westerns, but I think that film Part 3 is gaining just as much popularity as both of them, the other two. I always like Part 2 as my personal favorite, but Part 3 seems to be going pretty good too. Yeah.
Well, you know what? As times change, a lot of people who see the movie more because it's on DVD, it's on streaming, and you can find that movie or those movies rather anywhere at any time during the day and night, every day, and more people stop to watch it. I know when I was writing the first book, I had a Back to the Future movie on in the background at all times, and it helped. Now, when Back to the Future 2 first came out, a lot of people said, well, we like it, it's Back to the Future, but they weren't prepared for what it was. I mean, and for me, I thought, what an amazing concept to do a sequel where you go back into the first movie and see it from a different angle.
And they had no idea it would be so good.
And that's become more appreciated over the years. And I think when we first came out, the Western was just fun. We went up to the places where John Wayne and all those people did cowboy stuff, and we were in our own little hill valley that was built from scratch because it was not, the studio was too small.
That's a 4K over here.
Well, there you go. It's in 3D. What do you do?
Yeah, that's right. Really. I love this collection. I'm glad they put it on 4K because it really looks, on a nice TV, it looks beautiful. Oh my God. It looks like a brand
Even
new
on a
movie.
lousy TV, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, I guess
mean,
so.
There's
you're
no
right.
bad way to see Back to the Future.
No, you're right. But I tell you what, watching it from VHS to DVD, that was definitely a difference that people were. I'm sure some were excited about. I'm sure some still watch on. Some probably still have the laser disc. Probably, I'm sure to watch it like that.
I got a couple of laser discs around.
Okay, I never had one, so I never got a chance to experience that.
Yes, I think I have. I bought Part 3 on Laserdisc.
Okay.
So I could stop and see my performance every day, which I didn't. But Back to the Future just keeps going, thankfully. And next year is the 40th anniversary of the release of Part 1.
Yep.
And we never used to call it Part 1 until there was a Part 2 and 3, because it was just Back to the Future. So
I wonder. Do you think the Back to the Future, the first film, would have still been as good as it was if there wouldn't have been 2 and 3? Do you think people still would have thought about how good it was all these years later?
If there was only one movie?
It was just the one, just the one. Let's say if they didn't make 2 and 3.
Well, you can't really theorize that, because first of all, when they opened the movie, nobody knew it was going to be Back to the Future. There wasn't a sequel plan. No one thought they'd go anywhere near it. But the movie opened at number 1. It just kept going and going and going and going. It stayed in theaters for months and months. And then there was no doubt that there had to be a sequel. If as long as Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis wanted to do it, because they didn't have to. And then the actors all came aboard with the proviso that Gale and Zemeckis were going to write, direct, produce, etc., because they knew it was, it had to be quality. It wasn't the money grab again, to use that.
So I gotta ask you, like, you know the whole staff, like all of them. How close are you with Zemeckis? Like, he's got a lot out there.
Well, I see Bob from time to time. I saw him in New York on Broadway, and of course, when I'm doing books and stuff, and I need him to give me a little background or quotes, I call him, and we talk on the phone, and so I see him. Bob Gale has been sort of my godfather on Back to the Future. He is he's an amazing man. I am so blessed to have him as a friend, a mentor, a filmmaker who has influenced my life and who has been very kind to me. When I wrote these books, and as I'm writing these books, I let him see them. I let him see the stuff and ask for his input, and he's been very, very generous in that way, and he's seemingly very happy with what I've written and will continue to write. So no, again, who knows? Had I not, what? Yeah.
I'm sorry, you were answering a question, and my questions just come randomly. I'm sorry. Sometimes they come before the finish of the answer.
Questions happen.
Well, we appreciate you, Mike, and for anybody that wants to know more about your story and about your books and whatnot, how can they do so?
Well, I would tell them to hire a private detective who would follow me, comb through the records.
I like that.
I'm
Mad Dog.
I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. I should do more, and I am. I'm probably going to be putting up a website for people who want to buy the book, either book from me, and then they can have it autographed before I send it to them. So I'll let you know as that comes together. Again, the musical book, I'm proud of everything I do, but the musical book I'm just so proud of because of the show itself, and that I was able to get some of the feeling of that show into the book, and hopefully give fans another look at something Back to the Future that they haven't seen and are going to love knowing about, either before or after they see the show.
Sure.
And typical female, I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, Michael J. Fox was shit. I had a crush on him ever since I saw him in Family Ties. And how close were you to him?
We saw each other every day. We hung out. We would do crossword puzzles together. We shared interest in crossword puzzles. Michael was very, very open to the crew. He wasn't closed off in any way. He loved being there. I mean, on part 2, as it had been on part 1, he was doing both Family Ties and Back to the Future at the same time.
That's right. Yeah.
So he was getting a solid, I would say, 20, 25 minutes of sleep a day. And the most fun, I think part of the fun of part 3 for Michael was Family Ties had ended, and he was just there. And as I said, we went up north to Northern California, where they had built this amazing town that you see on the film. And we were in the Old West. So we all had a blast that way. So there's not a single person that you could ask me about in terms of the crew or the cast that I can't say exemplary words about. The thing is, I didn't work on part 1. I visited the set, but there was somebody else working on it. When I got the call to do part 2, which was first only supposed to be part 2, and then it turned into part 2 and 3. Most of the people in the crew had worked on the first movie, but they welcomed me into the family as if I had. So it was so rewarding and welcoming. And how lucky can somebody be to wake up in the morning and go and do something like that they love. As I said, I hadn't worked on part 1, but I had visited the set because the assistant director, the first assistant director, was a very dear friend of mine, and he said, "Well, come on down and visit." So I went down to Universal. They were doing the scene in the malt shop where George grabs his chocolate milkshake and he goes up to Lorraine and he announces himself as her density.
Yeah. You are my density.
I was walking around town square, and there on one corner there was Michael, and he was practicing his guitar for the upcoming Johnny Be Good scene. So and just everything. And I looked around and I said, God, one day I would love to work on a movie like this. And then 4 years later, I found myself in Hill Valley, in Town Square in 1955 on the first night of shooting, and Marty coming around the corner and saying, "Doc, I'm back from the future." And you can't beat it.
No, you can't.
That's nice.
Well, we appreciate you, Michael, and thanks again for just being a part of the show. And even though it may have took a little while to get you on, but you know what, it was worth the wait, because I knew we were going to get something special anyway.
You guys are all terrific. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Michael.
I would come back.
Thank you.
At any time.
Oh my God. So sorry.
Write another book. And I will keep you in the loop in terms of, if people want to get the book from me at some point, and how we can do that.
We want an autograph book.
That's right.
Sorry about the technical difficulties. I get that quite a bit. I've got 2 different podcasts I do, in every once in a while. Well, okay. To be honest, almost every show, I've got some little glitch.
Difficulty or something.
Disappears a lot.
Yeah. But I'm back. And I was I asked, and and then things happened, and I'll have to go back to listen to the answer. But I just want to let you know, KLASTORIN, the historian, I am so glad you were on our show. Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence. For real.
Well, I wish I could come down there and take you all to the show. Make sure you guys go to the show when it's in your hometown.
Make your dreams come true. Come to Little Bobby's on Highway 2 and Macintosh. Make your dreams come true. Show up here.
We appreciate you, Michael, and thanks again for being part of Renegade Radio. And
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
The entire crew and everybody watching on Grand Forks Best Source. And we'll see you in 3 weeks here when we come back from our 2-week break for another great edition of Renegade Radio. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
See you,
Bye-bye.
Michael. Thank you.